Okay, well, hi, this is Ginger, and originally I started this this tutorial out as a live video. We tried 2 times to send this out live through the ethers, and guess what? It just froze up, couldn't do it. So now, a little bit like Groundhog Day, I'm going to do it again, okay? But so we're going to just record it. We're recording this in the studio here in Houston, and we're uploading this tonight, right after our live show on Monday night, which sort of just went, sorry, and I'm tanked because, you know, we had almost 300 people on. We were really sorry we didn't get to finish it, but we have nothing to do with that. We have no control over what happens, but let's just get down to it. This is our window garden, which, you know, by the sea, and I think it's on 8x10 canvas, which I have lightly sanded and sprayed the back of so it sounds like a drum with water. See that? Hear that? Boom, 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 boom. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we've got our regular culprits of paint out here, acrylic paint. Got white, and you see the canvas has been pretty hardly used here. White, the palette, white, mixing white or zinc white, yellow oxide, cad yellow medium purple, ultramarine blue, which I can see we've kind of used up most of that, a little phthalo blue, some burnt sienna, some cad red medium, some magenta, and some burnt umber, and a little raw umber. We've added that. Now what I want to do is just to measure down here about 1 inch and 3/4. Put my glasses on so I can see this. Well, about like that. Not quite 2 inches, 1 and 3/4, like that. But like this, and just take my ruler and draw a straight line across here like that. Little 8x10 canvas. And let me just, this looks pretty level to me here, but let's just double check it with my T-square, because I hate rulers. You guys know that about me, right? Let me just check it. Line the T-square, or rather my triangle. Line that up. Ah, perfect. Okay. Now we're going to come down here on the bottom, and that's about, down here on the bottom, just about 1 inch. We're going to come down here about 1 inch on the bottom and make a little mark with a chalk. We're just using new pastel chalks. And we were telling everybody, we had this great live chat going, and John's on here. He's going to be zooming in and helping me here. It's actually about the width of this ruler is what it is, but that's okay. Let's just come up here about like that. I'll eyeball that in. I want this level. Okay. And that's not quite level. I can see that already. Okay, there we go. All right, so we want that, and then I want to come up another inch about the width of the ruler here. Do that. Put another little line here like that. Perfect. All right, so that's, we divided it up into, this is the big space, small space. All right, so I'm, here, can I straighten this out here? Yeah?
No, check your line on the top. Measure with your ruler at the top.
It looks really crooked here, doesn't it? I can see it. It really looks crooked here. So let me just, I'm a little frustrated tonight, John. I'm just really hacked off that our live class, it's the second time I'm doing this. Let's just bring that down here. I think it's more like this, but let me just do my, I want my T-square back.
You want me to go get it?
You know, because this is how it's got to be. I want my T-square back, because you can't screw up with the T-square. Here you go. There we go. That should be it right here. That should be my straight line right there. Should be. All right, I thought so too. I would have seen it. All right, so now, all right, I want to take my large brush here, which is a bright brush, Bristol on. It's had paint on it, so I'm going to have to rinse it off because we've been painting. Now I want some white paint and a little bit of raw umber, tiny bit of phthalo blue, and tiny bit of cad red medium, like next to nothing. Kind of make this little gray color. All right, a little bit like that, a little bit more phthalo, a little bit of raw umber. Okay, now I'm going to come down here like this from the top and just, I think I got this down too low now. I think when we straightened it out, we went way too low. But that's all right. I'm just going to ignore it for a minute, and I'll fix it. It's not right anymore, John. It's too low. All right, so we're going to say that here's our colors. And I want this gray color, and let's see, let's put a little bit of raw umber with it. Kind of out of places to mix anymore here, because we're starting with a new palette. Wipe this off, and here, just come down like that. Now, I'm going to rinse the brush because I had a bunch of paint on it from this raw umber stuff I don't want. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to tear this off. I don't have any place to mix paint. I need a place to, if you can't mix your paint, then you're just stuck, okay? I need a big area to mix paint with. Okay, here's my gray color again. Come down like that, okay? A little bit more raw umber with it. Okay? kind of gray this out. Come here like that. Now, I'm going to come down the same way with more raw umber in this blue color. And I'm going to come down here on the bottom using this bright brush. You see that? All the brush strokes are going up and down. Now, I've lightly sanded this canvas, so this is pretty easy to do. And I was all enthusiastic to tell you about how to win a new painting. And I'm going to tell you that, too. I'm going to tell you how to win a painting, one of my original paintings, before this is over. Because I told everybody on the live thing, but we can't leave it up. All right, so let's get more of this blue color into here because we lost a little bit of that. Kind of go over there like this. Okay, a little bit of this blue color over the brown. Here we go. So it's phthalo blue green shade if you're using Liquitex. Everybody says, what are you using? Now, all out of raw umber, so let's put some more out. A little bit. All right, now I've got some raw umber. I'm going to come up here like this and just using the edge of my brush, I'm going to make a little ledge here. Okay, you want to make sure this is straight. Here we go. I don't know how straight that is. Yeah, I think I do want my T-square. You know what? I've got my lines are all messed up now. I'm getting very frustrated and upset. None of my lines are working anymore. All right, so I've got white and phthalo blue and a little raw umber, and I want to come back and forth across here like this with our water. This is going to be our water. It's going to come across here like this, and I will make sure it comes up just so that this is all straight up this way. All right, so this is our first coat of water, and we might as well just cover the whole canvas like that, up down to this line, back and forth. Now, water is one of those things where if it's not a waterfall, you've got to be painting it back and forth. That's real important to know. Even if it's just a lake, back and forth. We're up and down for the boards, but back and forth for the water. Okay. Here's some white, a little bit of raw umber, and I'm going to say that this is the ledge right here. This is the ledge for the for our table right there. You can barely see it, but there's our ledge for the table. Okay, and I might take some of that paint like that ledge color, come up here to the top, and just pull some down like that. Just kind of gray that out. All right, so I think this still looks a little uneven to me. So I'm going to come back to my gray color, just my phthalo blue, white, and a little bit of raw umber, and I'm going to come back up here and make sure that I've got this even. John's getting my T-square, if you can ever find it. Okay. So, all right. So I did this painting. I had this painting this far finished, you guys, before we lost the live feed. So it's just sort of annoying to have to do it again, but that's all right. We'll get it, can kind of streamline it this time. Now, this is my raw umber again. We're going to come across the top of this. This is our table like that, and we're going to say that there's the top of this. You find it? Thank you. All right, so we're sort of losing it here. Okay, thank you. So here's why you want that T-square. You can just line right up next to the T-square with some paint. Come right like here, like this with it, and there. Look see what a beautiful straight line you can get. I can do the same thing here, coming up right here with the T-square. Let's see. Here's my straight line. Like this, the top of that. Look how beautiful that is. And the same thing, I'll do it right here too. Come over here like this. Come under here. Just put the T-square right here, and you got a little purple and brown. I'm going to come under here like this, and just on the top of that, I'm just going to draw a line across here like this, using the edge knife blade of my bright brush, but you could use a small brush for this too. Okay, so now, look at that. We've got 3 straight lines. Now, what happens to the T-square? Well, what we're going to do is just take a little paper towel and dampen it and clean it. Then you can use it the next time. If you get a lot of paint on these things, they don't work the next time. We found these little clear ones. You remember where we got these, John, these little clear ones?
I got those on Amazon.
On Amazon, huh? Do we have a link on our website for these yet? Not yet. But these are really nice. I like them because you can see through them. See? And I'm just kind of wiping it off here. And then I can use it again. There we go. All right, see that? That's beautiful. Thank you so much for getting that. All right, now everybody always says, well, how do you know what you can do next? Well, I can layer a little more blue before I have to dry it. But that's phthalo blue and white would be too strong a color. I can add a tiny bit of yellow oxide to it, and I can't really mix there, but I can mix here. Now that gives it a little bit of a green color, and I'm just going to add some streaks in here to the water up here like that. Add some streaks. Now a little bit of mixing white, and I'm going to add a few more streaks coming across here like that. It's pretty flat, but still a little bit of mixing white, right, particularly under the windowsill like that. Going to put a little bit of light. Now at this point, I have to dry everything. There's really nothing else I can do. And if you're not drying a lot, what happens is that that's when you start to get mud. Okay, so I want you to get in the habit of drying. Just come up here with my top of my area here. Now I'm going to take a little bit of white, and that's your zinc white. I'm going to come over here just on one side and just lighten the sky up a bit. It's a sort of sky kind of window through the glass. This is all glass up here with the windows open. Okay, so we're going to lighten that up just a little bit, another layer of that, and we're going to dry. Okay, brush goes in water, drying now, and when I come back, we'll have had this dry, all right? Okay. All right, so now the next thing, we're back. We're still back. All right, next thing we're going to do is put in our boats. I'm going to take a little bit of brown and get a little bit of raw umber and purple, and let's move this up here like this. I think I can use the palette now. I'm going to start, first off, I'm going to start here almost like in the middle, and I'm just going to put a little straight line coming down here like that. And I'm going to come under here and just darken this line up a little bit more. Make sure this is vertical, and I'm going to skip about 3 fingers and do another one. Maybe like this. There we go. All right, so we've got these partitions for our window. I want to come under here like this, make sure that this windowsill, this is a windowsill, and it's got to be dark enough so it reads like that. A little bit of burnt umber, a little bit, yeah. Even, I think I'll put a little yellow and blue with it and make it almost turn it green. Here, just make it a little dark green underneath here like that. Okay. There we go. So there's our windowsill. All right. Now for our boats, the boats are going to be starting right about here. Going to come down at least about 1/4 of an inch below that. I'm going to do just like a little shapes like this. Kind of stagger them down, kind of stair step them down. Here's what they look like with my chalkboard, where this is the shape of the boat, not the angle is this way, not this way, all right? And so you've got 1, 2, 3 back here like that, all right? You leave a little space. These tall things are the mast. This is a little boatyard that we're seeing in the distance. All right, so now we're going to just barely suggest these, a little purple, raw umber, and mixing white, and we're going to just come up here like this and suggest. Here's a little boat here. I'm going to make another one here like this. Make sure I've got this good angle coming this way. Keep the bottoms very level because remember they're sitting in water. And so obviously the water's going to be level around the bottoms of the boat. This one's going to be a little darker so it's more forward. This bottom's boat level. Now I'm going to put a few little boxes and stuff in them. Little cabins and stuff. You know how boats are, they have stuff. A little more purple and burnt umber. So I want this one a little bit darker. Right there. I'm going to say that there's this boat. Okay. All right. Now this, all you're doing is when you say something like, when you do stuff like this, you're just suggesting the boat. There's not a great bunch of detail. We'll add a little more mixing white to that. We're going to suggest there's kind of one off in the distance that we're barely talking about. Something back there, but we're not really talking about it. Now I'm going to take that same mixing white and say that here's some stuff coming up this way. We don't know what's back in the harbor. Okay, and then maybe some titanium and lighten up some of this purple here, like that. Keep the paint on one side of your brush only. Okay, just define these boats a little more. A little bit more, but not much. We're just saying it. Now, a little yellow oxide, and then we're saying straight up and down, these are the masks. They've got to come on inside of the windowsill. They can't be over it like this one, okay? You've got to suggest that the masks are there. And there's a lot more masks because this is a big boatyard. Some of them are taller than others, and some of them are darker than others. Start with some yellow oxide for a few. Okay, and remember, the masks are behind the window. All right, so that suggests a boatyard without really having said anything. Let's just darken this boat up a little bit here and make sure you've got this angle here correct, like that. And if when this dries, we can come back and do a little more, but that's basically what we're going to say that there's our boat. Okay, like that. All right, so those are our boats. Now we're going to take a little bit of green, which is yellow, phthalo blue and yellow, and a little raw umber. Make like a little green color and come under this boat this way. Make a little shadow. Same with this one. Make a little shadow here like that. Make sure it's going down. It's reflecting, so it's going to be opposite. So this angle is going to go down. It's almost like a V here. Do you see that? Like a V there? Little tiny one here, a little tiny bit of a reflection there. Okay. So those are our boats in the water. And now let's take a little bit of white and phthalo blue and green, and that's your mixing white, okay? And I want to come next to this windowsill like this and do a little bit of green right here. Okay, like that. And let's see, where else are we going to put that? Let's take a little bit of brown now and add to that color and come back here. And we're going to make this a little darker here, back here like this. We're going to say where we did this line, we're going to darken this line up just a hair. Like that, and I want a dark line right here too. Now, if you want to go back and do your T-square, we can do that. See, I put that here. So remember, if you're having trouble, get one of these because they'll save you a lot of problems. You're going to come back here, just hook it on the side here. So here's my, I want this wider here, and I want it darker. So I'm going to come up here with some burnt umber, and I'm going to make a dark line right here. Okay, and it's going to be nice and straight because there's my T-square. Okay, so I've got that nice dark line and wipe the T-square off. Saves hours. Okay, now let's talk about our curtains are going to come here, but we've got a, if you can kind of see what we're doing, let me just show you. We've got from up above here, we've got almost like a pyramid of flowers, all right? So what we want to do is take some green, which is yellow, and phthalo blue, and a little bit of raw umber. I'm going to make a dark green. And I want to come just about 2 fingers below that center boat. And I'm going to just suggest some odd little leaves coming up like this. It's kind of almost in a pyramid pattern, like that. And now I'm just going to fill all this in with paint. The outside, here's some little leaves, tiny little doop-doop. They can be separate, but the bottom part here is just, might as well all be solid green for now. Make sure that the edges are a little bit uneven and that you've got some sort of little plants growing up here like that. And then the fastest way to paint this in is to go ahead and take your green, a little raw umber with it, or burnt umber if you don't have raw umber, burnt umber, and come all the way down here like this, And now what about something like this? Well, then add a few little leaves. Use the corner of your brush. I'm using a little 3/8 inch angle brush. And just come on down here like that. And say, here's some green coming out this way. So this is our window ledge. Now, I think I lost my dark ledge here, so I'm going to put that back. I lost it. I'll put some dark, just some burnt umber. Put this ledge back like this. There we go. Okay, there you go. Now, I know I have a white line on top of it, and I already put green, but I thought it would be easier to put that later, so I'm going to put that later. So let's make some more greens. Let's take some yellow and some cad yellow, yellow oxide and yellow, and here's just into the green we've already got. And let's suggest some lighter green leaves in here like this. Just kind of miscellaneous, just touch a few things in here like that. This is our background color. Now I'm going to add some titanium white to that. And this is my third green. This is a little bit lighter. Up here like this, just in a few places. Okay, maybe back in here like that, a little third green. Now let's make a real dark green, which is ultramarine blue and phthalo blue and a little bit of yellow oxide. Let's make this really dark green, no white on the brush at all. Okay, see, maybe a little bit of yellow here. Okay, now I want to come up here in a couple places, and I'm just going to kind of avoid that light stuff, and I'm going to add a few little dark spots of color, dark green. Okay, just a few dabs of that. Okay. Now, this is all we can do until something dries. This is the trick. If you're not drying enough, then that's what happens. So we want to make sure that we've dried everything, but might take a little bit of mixing white and purple and a tiny bit of yellow. And why are we using yellow? Because yellow is opposite purple on the color wheel. And it makes, and when you mix them together, you get kind of, it grays, one color grays the other. So if you're not using a color wheel as a reference, please, these are inexpensive, get one. See, here's purple, here's yellow. They're opposite each other in the color wheel. So if you add a tiny bit of yellow to purple, it grays it, all right? So it's not like in your face. So we're gonna just say, here's this, I want something a little bit lighter up on top. Put a little white with that. Okay, a little mixing white. I want something a little bit lighter on the top of this ledge. Let's try some titanium white because that wasn't doing anything. All right, so here we go. A little ledge up here like that. See on top of this. Wanted a little bit lighter on our windowsill. Up here where our window's open, okay? So far so good. We're in good shape there. Let's dry. Okay, so we've dried. Now I want to go ahead and do one more thing. I'm going to just take some titanium white and a little tiny bit of yellow oxide, mix those together, mostly white. I'm going to come across the top of this one, remember, because I did green already. Using just an angle brush, I'm just going to one long, continuous light ledge here like this. This one's real important, so we're going to put this on here and dry that. Okay, just get in the habit of drawing things as you go. There you go. Doesn't have to be too perfect. If you had taped straight lines everywhere, it wouldn't look very painterly. All right, so let's take a little bit of raw umber now and come under here, and I want to bring some brush strokes down, so I'm going to lighten this up. It's a little bit of raw umber and burnt umber, and I guess I had a little white on the brush. I want to bring these brush strokes down. So I've got this dark ledge, but I want to just bring these brush strokes down like that. Kind of straighten them off at the bottom. I have to kind of make this a bit wider I can, okay? Anyways, I want these brush strokes to be up and down, okay? And I want to make sure that that window ledge really shows up. Some titanium white right here. You notice I only put paint on one side of the brush. I'm very careful how I do that. And sometimes I think people get too much paint because they don't put enough paint on, they put paint on both sides of the brush and then the paint goes everywhere and then they feel like they've kind of lost control. All right, so this is what we've got so far. Here's what we're painting. You can see that. Here's what we're painting. Here's what we're painting. So now I know, for instance, that I can come up a little higher with my greenery. But I'm going to have a pot here. And I'm also going to have some curtains and stuff. But what I want to do first is just come up a little bit higher with the greens. Now, I'm going to come up here like this into the, make these a little bit darker. This is my background. I think these are geraniums, I've decided, that are up here. So I'm going to come up here a little bit. And you notice that this top edge is sort of uneven. I think that's real important. Like little leaves. I'm just using like little, like little apostrophes or something. Little leaf shapes, okay? Now, green and red are opposite each other on the color wheel. So when you put wet red over wet green, you get a mess. So this is where you got to dry it. This is really important. This is where people really lose it in their paintings is they don't dry enough. So I'm going to stop and dry all of this. Okay? Drying again. Now, in order for us to put our pots in, we have to understand the shape of the pot, because there's no traceable for this. This is really easy stuff, guys. So here's a box. Okay, and I'm going to cut off the corner like this and like this. And there's my pot. Do you see how easy that is? Okay, that's how you do a pot. Okay, so that's really easy. Here's a U. Yeah? So imagine a U like this. Maybe that would be easier for you. Whatever pattern forms in your brain, you learn to draw when you learn handwriting. So try to break it down to basic shapes. All right, so we're going to come up here like this and say that we're in about 2 inches here on this side, and they're going to come up about 3 inches. And we're going to say that curtains are going to come down this way, and we're about 2 inches on this side where curtains are going to come, and just going to do some chalk like that. Okay, and if that's where my curtain is, I've got to do something else. I've got to make my boat a little longer. So if the curtain's coming there, you're not going to see enough of my boat. So I'm going to bring this boat out here like this. Okay, good to know these things. All right, there's this boat. Okay, so I brought that boat out a little further because I'm going to have some curtains that are going to come down this way. All right, so that being said, in fact, I think I'm going to move them over just a little bit more too. Okay, that's what we like, chalk. I'm going to move the curtains over about this far. How far is that? About 2 inches. Yeah, so I guess I was 3 inches. That's what happened. Okay, we're going to say that's the curtains, and this is not. Okay. All right, so let's just draw in our pots. I'm going to come here to this is where my curtains are, right about here. And here, so I'm going to say the center. I'm going to come down here and make my first pot. It's going to sit here like that. That's my first pot. It's going to go over the top of the rim. Okay, and then underneath it's going to be a little saucer. Here's a smaller pot here. Okay, the same thing over here. We're going to do 3 pots. Like that, and they do come taller than the window ledge. All right, with the saucer underneath. So those are our 3 pots. John, if you would be so kind as to zoom in for me, I'll paint these pots in here. A little bit of burnt sienna. We'll just get them painted in right now. We'll just get a color on them. That's all we have to do is just get some sort of color on them. Then we'll come up with a, plan on that. So this is burnt sienna, kind of our darkest color on our pot. Okay, that one's a little bigger than I wanted, but I guess it's going to be a bigger pot. All right, let's make this pot bigger. Okay. And same with this one. I think I'm going to take a little red and yellow and make a little orange color. Okay. And say here's this pot. Make this a little oranger. Cad red medium, a little cad yellow medium. Make a little of that. Let's put a little of that orange color in here. And on this one. Okay, so I'm going to come underneath the pot like this and do like a little curve and then add a small little bottom to it. It's our saucer. Okay. Same thing on this one. I'm going to come underneath like that and add a little saucer. Okay, let me make this a little taller. There we go, a little saucer. Okay, so now, taking a little bit of yellow and red, making a bright orange color, I'm going to come here on the side of this, and now this is pretty wet. So I may not be able to lighten this up much. And this is what's going to happen to you. You're going to go, well, it didn't lighten up like hers because this is too wet. Do you see that? That's all we can do with these pots now. We've got them here, but we can't do much. We can take a little bit of purple maybe and darken one side and say that there's a darker side to this. And we can put a little purple here on the top, right over the top of these. And the purple mixed with the wet brown. Say that there's the top of the pots here, kind of like that, but we can't do much else because it's wet. And that's the trick with acrylics, is you've got to know when you can add something and when you can't. All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of the cad red medium now, and I'm going to come up here and I'm going to just do a few little dabs of spots for flowers. Teeny, these are real small. Come over here, and these are our background flowers in the windowsill, not the ones that are growing out of the pots, but the windowsill. All right, so we come over here, and there's some back over here. This is the pots that are growing outside the window, the flowers, so back over this way. And a few little dots. They're not very big at all. All right, now we've got other things growing over there too, but that's our first one. Now we take a little bit of ultramarine blue and a little bit of titanium, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to create some sort of little blue flowers kind of up into here like that. They're going to be behind the curtains, but that's really all we saw of those. Maybe something in here, I'm not sure. Just a couple. All right, so there's some blue flowers. And then I'll take a little bit of zinc white, or that mixing white, and come over and just touch them a little bit. And lighten those up. All right, so we've got a few little flowers there. Now to focus on these, we're going to say that I've got like I've got some magenta flowers in this one, with just magenta and white. I'm going to say that in this, then that would be titanium white. Here's some magenta flowers growing in this flower pot right here. And I'll just bring them out over the edge of it like that. There's some magenta ones. And then I'll take some titanium white and barely touch it. Just on the top, I'm going to say that there's some highlights to these. And whatever's growing in here, that's those. All right? Now this one, I'm going to say it's purple and blue and white. And I'm going to say that in here we've got some sort of like a hydrangea, maybe growing up this way, some purple ones. And I'm just going to suggest those colors now, because I can do that without drawing. Get back here to some little bit deeper purple. We want some darker spots. And then the same thing over here. These two are going to be the same. A little more purple on this pot. Okay. And then a little tiny bit of titanium white. Just touch it. Just dab it on the top. Just barely touch it. Just use the corner of your brush, barely touch it. This is the highlight of the flower. They're not freckles. Okay. Okay, so all right, so those are our three flowers at this point. Okay, now you're not really going to see much of the inside of that pot. Now, what else could I do here? Not much. I have to now stop and dry everything, because otherwise it will be everything will all bleed together. So this is one of the things where it takes a little patience. You've got to dry everything. I mean, it's a little bit different. For instance, I want to just show you something. If you remember the balcony of painting we did, again, with the darker colors are on the bottom, the lighter colors are on the top. It doesn't really matter. You still have to dry in between these layers. This is on YouTube if you haven't done that. Last week we did this lily, and again, this was all glazing, a little different technique where I teach you glazing and how to kind of glaze these colors almost in a watercolor-like fashion on the lily, which is a totally different way of painting, than this painting, which is our new release for our members. John, can you zoom me back out? This is the new release we're doing for our members on gingercooklive.gallery. Every week, our members get a brand new painting. This was based on a painting from an artist, believe it or not, an American artist. He was Irish and American. Herbert was his, what was it?
Like Bennett.
Oh yeah, Bennett. Arnett. Man, I can't say it. Arnett? No, that's...
A-R-N.
No, it wasn't Arnett. It wasn't his name. It wasn't Herbert either. Well, anyway, I've seen the video. I forget his name because William something Burnett, Harnett. Harnett. Yeah, not Arnett. Harnett. I was thinking Herbert, but it's Harnett. William Michael Harnett. Now, here's the original painting. And look at, back in 1848, look at the texture he did. I show in our video for our members how we do the texture, okay? And how you paint a painting like this. This is another one that we have done in the past from Mr. Harnett. Don't you love this? Aren't these just great pictures? These are step-by-step pictures, and these are some of we do very basic beginner lessons and back to basics, clear up to the advanced lessons on our gallery, but every technique is different, but I promise you we're drying all the time. The texture that we added to this had to dry overnight before we can continue to do it. So I guess the point of all this is, besides, I'd love it if you'd like to run over to gingercooklive.gallery, check us out. You could just get a single week for under $10 and just try to have access. And for that $10, you've got access to over 300 lessons. Any of these you see that are on our website, you can play it at your heart's content. You can paint for 24 hours a day for the week and get as many of them done as you can, or just concentrate on a few, or for as low as $21.95 a month if you're a senior or in the military, or $26.95 a month. That's for the whole month. We give you 4 new lessons a month, and plus access to all of them and personal art coaching, which is really very helpful. So gonna just throwing that in, you guys. I think you would really enjoy it. And we cover everything from the old dead artists to the new guys to me. We don't teach you to paint like me. We teach you how to paint so that you can express your ideas. That's the idea, and that's what we try to do on YouTube too. So if you have not subscribed to my channel at this point, please do subscribe now. We appreciate your comments. I try to write back to you. We're sorry our live class didn't make it. I'm going to dry this now. I think I just smeared that. Did you see that? When I moved that picture, I just smeared that. But because I have dried everything, it doesn't matter, does it? Because I've been drawing. See? Because I've been drawing, I'm in good shape. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and... Drying is like save as on the computer, by the way. All right, so let's try this, and then I'll continue on with this lesson, show you how we're going to finish it off. Okay, we're back. Now, what I want to do, come over here, is take a little of my light green, which add a little bit of white, a little bit of yellow to it, make a kind of a lighter green. Add a few little lighter green touches to some of these leaves. Now, because the red's dry, I can break up some of that red again. Have some lighter colors over here like that. Okay, that's a good thing to do, because when we start covering this up. And let's see, where else could I put something? I want to do my pots before I glue any more flowers. I'm going to rinse the brush, make kind of a little orange color. I'm going to say my light's kind of coming from this way, so I'm going to say this edge of the pot is doing like this and push and lift up. There you go. Same thing here. I'm going to say there's the pot. Now we need to go ahead and finish the saucer, which is going to come around here like that and kind of finish the bottom of this bowl. If you have to make it a little bigger, that's all right. We're going to finish this up. So here's our saucer like that, and here's a little bit of a darker part of it right here underneath. Okay, so if I just fill it in, I can always change the color. Does that make sense? So I'm going to take a little white now. I may change my brush size, but let's see if I can pull this off with using this brush like that. Here we go, a little bit of light edge here on the saucer, like that. The same thing here, just a little bit of a light edge. Pinch the brush, move that paint around like that. Now I want a little bit of a light edge on the top of my pot here. Okay, this is just titanium white, a little bit of light edge. I don't know how much we'll see of that. All right, now let's see if I can't get a little bit of a rust-colored saucer here. I'm going to turn this upside down. For me, it's easier to turn it upside down to finish painting it. You know, if you're trying to paint something and have a certain direction my hand wants to naturally go. So if I'm having to do certain angles, if I turn it upside down to paint it, I have much more control over the brush than if I didn't. So I'm going to hit. Saucer's got to be level across the bottom. Come up this way. Okay, like that. Same thing here. And if it helps you, turn the picture up, the example picture. Someone says, well, where can I print this out? I'll have this up on Pinterest. If you want to go to Pinterest, I'll put this image up on Pinterest. You can go print it out. Be easy enough to do. Okay. There we go. Let's see, I kind of smeared that a little bit. All right, let's just turn these around and see how our saucer did. Now, that's okay. Now I'm going to take a little bit of raw umber, come under the saucer here. Too much, a little bit of white with it maybe. And make a little shadow color underneath my saucer here in both places. A little tiny bit of raw umber, a little bit of a shadow color. Like that. Under there. So we're not getting too detailed. Now let's take a little bit of white and yellow oxide. Okay. And a little tiny bit of phthalo blue, just a tiny bit. Make this sort of off. Let's see, maybe a little ultramarine blue. I want a little bit of off. I want that shelf color. All right, a little bit of white. I want this shelf color, which is sort of a light. Well, let's see, put some yellow, burnt. Let's see, a little bit of, perfect. A little bit of raw umber with that, sort of a gray color, right? So we're going to say this is our shelf color. That's too dark, so I'm going to just take some more white and add to that. There we go. I'm going to lighten up this around where my pots are, and I can also kind of reshape the saucers if I need to. All right, so sort of just touched up there. I'm going to just reshape that saucer because I didn't quite like how I had it. All right, I think what happens is I need a smaller brush. See, what do we got? What do we got that's little? Little pointy brush. We use one of those. Okay, a little zero pointy brush. Now, I'm going to just come up here and redraw that in. Okay. All right. And a little bit of burnt sienna. Come under here like that and reshape that because I wasn't happy with that. The thing about it is with acrylics, it doesn't matter what you've done, you can always fix it. Just be ready to fix it if you need to. Okay, let's just get this down here too. It's a little bit more dark on the pots here. Okay. Here's the outline of our saucers. Okay, like that. There we go. So we got some saucers, and we've got the little pots, and see a little bit of white here on the edge of this. That's titanium white right here. See if that's going to lighten. And if it doesn't, if the white doesn't show up, then you have to dry. That's the bottom line. If your white's not showing up, you have to dry something. It's a little bit lighter here. There. Okay, so I'm happy with that. That's it. I've got this light back here. You've got to make sure you've got it light enough back here on your ledge. Okay. All right, so there we are. We're getting ready to put the curtains in and everything. So I don't want this brush for that, but I might take this brush and take a little bit of yellow and a little bit of white and come back up here and pop some yellow and a few little dots up here in this. Got some just cad yellow medium. Just pop some little bright yellow flowers in here like this. They're coming this way. Yellow and purple are complements, so anytime you do a few little like that, it gets real impressive real quick. There we go. So that's cute. See how we brighten up this? The flowers are our center of interest, so that's what we've done here. I'm going to put a little bit of light here on this window ledge, right like that. There, behind the boats. All right, behind the curtain. That looks cute. Now, how about some bright yellow and red, cad red medium, and do a little orange. Let's see, do we have any orange flowers we can put here? A couple places. Just add a couple little orange spots. That's yellow and cad red medium. Okay, like that. All right, so you just want to make sure that you can brighten stuff up if you need to. And here's some cad red, and this is my second coat of that in a couple places. Second coat of red, okay? Just a drop or two in a couple places on those flowers, those front ones, and that's going to make them really show up. All right, so this is what we've got here, and if I've done any colors back in here that are red or anything, I have to dry this before I do the curtains. But as long as I'm doing that, let's just take a few. Here's our magenta. What if we had a few little petals coming down here like that? Might have it, maybe some blue and white ones. Do we have anything, you know, maybe there's something from these flowers that fell. Do we want to do any more dark blue? Do we want to, before we dry, are we going to add any more colors to this? Maybe a few little drops of color like that. Because these are the ones in the pots, right? A little bit of light yellow and green. Can we do that? Do we dare touch that? Yeah, let's try that. Let's just do some lighter green in here too. Maybe I've got a little light green color coming over the edge of the pot, like that. Coming out of the pot. There you go. Little couple of green leaves on the table. Keep them flat, please. All right, now drawing again. Okay, so we've dried everything, and let's see. All right, so I'm going to take my brush, my little angle brush, and I'm going to come up here with my zinc white now. Here's the deal. We're going to come down here. I think we said this is where our curtain was going to come straight down here like this. Take a little bit of yellow oxide, and I'm going to come straight down with a little bit of burnt or raw umber, yellow oxide and raw umber, a little bit of zinc white. And I'm going to say this is almost like part of the wall right here. I'm going to come down over this wall like this, straight down, like that. And then I'm going to add more zinc white to that. Okay, like that. Just come down over here like this. This is our wall part. Now on this side of our canvas, I'm going to add a little purple to this. Remember I told you that yellow and purple kind of go gray, and zinc white, and all right, so more, there we go, a little more purple in it. And we're going to say that here's our purple curtain coming down here like this, and it kind of billows out a little bit. And on this side, it's like a little bit more solid. I'm going to come down straight down here like this, down toward the bottom like this. Now we're saying these are sheer curtains, and this is why we're using mixing white. or a zinc white, because it's going to allow for it to the colors underneath it to show through. So now I'm pure mixing white now. I'm coming down here with my little angle brush, pinching it, putting it paint just on one side, doing some folds in the curtains. And I'm going to bring some this way, okay? Little bit this way, just brush strokes coming this way, okay? And because you can see through it, this gives the effect of it being like sheer curtains. Okay, now we start off at first with the, some of this paint's fairly thick too, you want to be able to see what's underneath here. Or see that, and I'm going to take a little yellow oxide because there was a little pattern in this, like this in our curtains, and I'm going to just suggest some of that here and then down toward the bottom. A little bit of yellow oxide on here like this, dry brush that on. And the same thing over here. When I say that there's this curtain coming this way, in here it's about 3 inches out, then it's coming back this way. Now, titanium white, changed whites on it. Here's titanium, do you see that? The outside of this curtain, that's my titanium. I want this to show up. And the same thing here too, little titanium white right here. Big difference between zinc white and titanium as far as opacity goes, okay? So here's a few. These are just a few fast brush strokes. Back to the zinc white, we're going to just say, got some curtains coming this way and they're coming down like that. Sometimes the brush is flat. Sometimes I'm doing it at a knife edge. Sometimes I have a little bit of almost that purple color with it. Little tiny bit of purple. Okay. Little tiny bit of purple with it, not much. There's just a slight tint to it. Okay. I'm going to come this way and across the, you want to just put all these windowsills in the background. If you overpaint it, this is just streaks and stop and look at it, because you can overpaint this really fast. I'm telling you what, this is why I'd say really dry it, so if you don't like it, you can wipe it off and do it again. I would say that do this last. I'm back into the white, and I'm going to say here's some white streaks right here. Here's some white like that, and the same thing here. I want this to come not that severe. This is titanium coming that way. Back to the zinc, because I need some coming up from the bottom like this. This is our sheer curtains coming up from the bottom. And the same thing here, that dark kind of color. Here's a little bit, I'm going to take a little bit of yellow oxide and just make this a little darker here. In burnt umber, I want that to be darker, that wall right there to be darker. And then I'm going to take a little bit of magenta in purple, in zinc white, and I want some little more purple on here. That's too much. Put some white over it. Okay, now I just changed that to titanium. Do you see the difference when you see titanium? How much bigger it is? But you want to keep everything very, very loose. So, everything very transparent and loose. Okay, now, here we go here, a little pattern on the curtains. Again, back into the zinc white, coming this way, on this corner, like that. All right, now, what do we got? Make sure that your curtains, this is real important, make sure that they go all the way to the top. Okay, and then you want to make sure I've got a little bit of, I have some color in them, all right? Here's a little bit of burnt, raw umber. I've got some color in these curtains, but not much. So mostly the color is either purple or yellow oxide. And I want to come over this blue. Now see, I got too much over that flower. Now what can I do? I can just kind of wipe that off, because I can see now you can see the flower underneath it. See how it just see how if you wipe a little, you put a little bit on and then wipe it off, you can see a little bit of what's behind the curtain there, literally. Now, a little bit of white right here, titanium here like this. So some final folds that are a little brighter. Okay. All right, that's what this is for. This is our final folds that are a little bit lighter here, okay? And now I'm going to take some zinc white, which I'm out of. Now here's the thing, if you going to put some more out, and I want to make sure it's nice and clean, okay? And this is, I have a big tub of this, but I like it better in the tubes. I just happen to have a big tub of golden right now, zinc white, but you could be using mixing white. I want to come over the top of this, like that, by window here. I don't want to come down any further than the window, but I'm going to suggest that's glass because of the zinc white too. Okay, I'm going to push all that back like that. Okay. Oh, isn't that looking cool? Now, what can we do here? Let's take a little bit of that same zinc white, put it back here by our boats, kind of coming this way to push those back a bit. Okay, I want to just barely suggest any boats in the harbor back here. Okay, saying that there's a little one back here, and I don't want to lose my poles, my sail, my masts. So I'm going to put the masts back. If I lost them with the zinc white, I'll put a few back. Okay, like that. And I don't want to lose those masts. Need a few, like those boats. And remember, the masts have to go behind the windowsill. So don't, okay, so you just want a few of those. Okay, and here's some boxes. Just to make sure I've got some boats to find here. It's a little cad red. I'm going to put a tiny bit of, just a couple of places on one of the boats. There you go, a little bit of boat. Just so those boats are defined a little bit more in the harbor. I'm out of phthalo blue. So even though I'm at the end of my picture, I'm going to put a little more out. And I want to make that green kind of color underneath my boats. I don't think they're floating enough. I don't think the shadow's good enough on them. A little bit more phthalo blue and umber and white. And a little tiny bit of yellow, kind of this green color, blue-green color. Put those under here like that. Make sure that that's there, and maybe some titanium white under here like this, just to make sure that, to suggest that there's boats out there. Okay, so now I'm looking at this painting. I'm going to move my paint. I'm going to look at this painting now and can kind of compare it side by side. Can you zoom out, John, for me, please? So what do I need to do? I mean, here's my two paintings. What do I need to do to, kind of pop one to the other up? Okay, so what we need is some more white. That would be titanium white. So we need to, the flowers are your center of interest, all right? So there's your center of interest. So we're going to get a little more titanium white here like this and add some more to these front flowers. Okay, like that, because that's your center of interest. And I need some more cad red medium. I need to come up here with this flower like this, brighten these up in the front, maybe bring those up a bit. Okay. I could take some more yellow and brighten up the orange pots, which I'm going to do right now. I'm going to brighten up those pots a little bit. I'm going to say like that. Okay, so that brings those pots forward. You're going to bring your eye forward. These are all things that you can do to, that will be helpful. And then let's see, what else could we do? I'm just kind of looking at that, I'm looking at that painting and I'm looking at this one because I was very happy with this one. Going, what else can I do? Can I brighten up the yellow? And I can come back with, my yellow's been out for a long time. So I'm going to come back with fresh yellow. And this is cad yellow light. I'm going to just try that. A little bit of cad yellow. I need to brighten up some yellow in a couple places. So a little bit of yellow. Not everywhere. Right there. Just a few little bright yellows. And where's cad yellow medium? Let's see, where do we have that? All right. I'll just take it right out of the tube, I think. If I can get it open. All right, here we go. Here's a little bit of, okay. Here's a little bit of yellow. All right, a little bit, oh, beautiful. Here's a little bit of an orange yellow here. Okay, there's a little bit of orange yellow right here. I'm going to just a few drops of that. Okay, so we're brightening this up, see? Okay, I like that. And then I can see here where I need more curtain right here. I'm going to take some titanium white here. This is my curtain right here. And I'm going to just curve that around so that I can really see it, right? There we go. Do a few this way. Now here's my titanium. See, now this is like a fold in the curtain, so I'm going to just change the direction of this one. This is the titanium white, like that. Maybe a little bit bolder right here, a little bit whiter down here. Okay. And let's see, what else could we do? I want the center one a little darker. I want this a little darker here. Definitely want it darker under here, so let's take a little bit of blue and red maybe and purple or something, make a dark color under here. Want this darker under here like that. Again, this brings attention. This is your center of interest is these flowers, and so we're darkening it up where we want the eye to look. Okay, let's darken up a couple boats. In here too, I'm going to darken up a couple of these. We can see the boats out in the harbor. Well, you can kind of compare the two. I mean, if you see something else that you like in one or not the other, that's okay. I feel like I would rather have this curtain going straight down. It doesn't feel like it is, so I didn't draw it that way, but I'm going to go ahead and add some white here. I want this to be sort of straight down here like that. There you go. I want that curtain to be straight down. A little bit of burnt umber here on this. Make this a little wider. There we go. Just kind of put those window ledges back. These are all the things we're doing when you're doing this stuff. Now, we're going to be live on Tuesday night if the sun still shines and we can get a connection. And I don't know that we'll always be able to, if we can't get the live, I'll always be able to just go ahead and film it. But we'll try to do another live painting tomorrow night. See how that works. Okay, make that a little bit steeper. There we go. So now we've really defined that window, haven't we? And I'm going to just pull a few streaks down here like that. And I think I could make this a little bit darker under here. Let's see, a little bit of green, yellow here. Well, I like the idea of this being dark green under here. I'm going to darken this, widen this ledge up down here like that. And it's kind of hiding behind the curtain here. But there we go. Widen that up there. Okay, so I'd say that we're pretty. I think we're pretty excellent on this. I'm thinking if there's anything else I want to do as far as my flowers go and my pot goes. Maybe a little bit of dark down here at the base of my saucer. If I can pull that off with this brush. A little bit of dark down here at the base of the saucer. A little bit darker under here. Okay. Looks pretty good to me, you guys. I would say that's our painting for the night. I think that came out. I'm sorry we weren't able to bring that live to you, but we are going to make sure that you get to see it. That's our painting, this window garden by the sea, and I think that's a perfect name for this. Really do. I just think that's absolutely perfect. A little raw umber. We're just going to have a few lines going this way on here like that too, by the way. Okay, and I'm going to take a little more raw umber and put it down here like this. There we go. I think we're in good shape, you guys. Here's our curtains. So that's how you do a translucent curtain. And I think that's really fun. And remember, if you get something too dark, you can always dry it and go over it again with zinc white, and it will knock it back. What I mean by that, it'll make it kind of, if that's too dark a color, you can just put a little, when it dries, put a little more zinc white on it. You can push it back. But have fun with this. I think this is a fun Personally, I think this is a really fun painting. Part of me wants a little light highlight right in here underneath the pots here. Taking a little bit of light, just lighten it up right here. There we go. All right, I think I'm in good shape, and I would say now's the time to sign it. And I hope you had fun, and if you have any questions, you can always save them up for the next live show, and be sure to ask us. And we'll try to answer them. You can write me at gingercooklive.gallery. Don't forget, if you want to win the painting, you've got to be have read the newsletter, which we are going to come out with June 1st. Okay? So we've signed it, and we're going to just say, please, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Always interested in what else you want to learn to paint. And I hope you had fun with this picture. I really sincerely do hope this was a lot of fun. Put a few more yellow touches to it. Okay. A few more little bright yellow dots somewhere. All right. That's pretty good here, you guys. I think we'll just have to stop here. Otherwise, Ginger will be painting on this another hour all night long. This is how this goes, you know. I just wanted a little bit brighter pot right there. There we go. All right. Just wanted to bring those pots up a little bit closer. Here, let's just lower this up here. Now I've got this tiny brush. Part of me wants to play with it, right? Okay, good enough. And we'll see you tomorrow night, Tuesday night. And remember, we're trying to be live when we can get the stream on Mondays and Tuesdays on 7:30 Central Time, and sometimes we're going to be, hopefully, maybe this Saturday, we'll see. The plan was to go live this Saturday with Cinnamon, my daughter Cinnamon, and Angela. It's kind of back-to-back here, consecutive, but we'll see if that even works. We'll see if we're going to do that, but that was the plan. So check, if you're not, check on Pinterest, gingercooklive.gallery, or Pinterest is ginger.cook.92 on Facebook for announcements. Okay, John, say goodnight. Do you want to have anything else to say, John? Do you want to say goodnight to anybody?
Good night, everybody.
All right, thanks. Bye.